Today we're going to touch very quickly on arbitration, the clauses that go in your agreement, and very specifically whether to choose one or three, or even to not actually mention a number. So more arbiters obviously means more choice, but it does also mean more cost. That's my kind of key messaging. When you negotiate the contracts, you can specify the number, or indeed specify that the number should be defined later on. With three arbitrators, typically each party has the right to appoint one, with the balancing member being appointed by the appointing authority. With one, you generally rely on the appointing authority to appoint one. The choice of arbitrator can help you in the process. And remember that the whole point of the arbitration clause is to avoid litigation. Litigation is exceedingly costly. It can take an awful lot of time. And some people say is in some ways never ending. If we're talking about one arbitrator, the optics might be that one arbitrator was in favor of one party. So if you go in and there's only one arbitrator appointed, you may think that person doesn't understand, or they're against you, or they favor the other party. That's especially the case if the other party has the right to appoint that arbitrator. So obviously when you're drafting these clauses and negotiating, question yourself if you're allowing the sole arbitrator to be appointed by the other party. What three arbitrators means is one of those arbitrators you appointed, so you're more likely to believe they are being fair to you. So your voice is being heard. That should make a fairer process. But negatively, it does mean a more complex process. Those three arbitrators need to talk to each other, discuss items, cooperate, potentially travel, meet, etc. And that means higher costs. And it's not just the cost of three arbitrators, it's the cost of the additional time it might take for those arguments to be heard. So what I tend to say to people is, if you've got a high value contract, then it's more likely you'll want three arbitrators there because the cost and the time is going to be worthwhile. If it's very low value, then the time and cost saving of one arbitrator is more than likely worth the lack of choice. And if you're unsure, then perhaps at this point, don't state the number and then have that in discussion later on. That's it. I encourage people to use an arbitration clause as opposed to going for litigation, but do consider carefully whether you need three or you need one. Any questions, as always, please feel free to give me a shout. Thank you.